Screen time salutations to all you internet dwellers out there, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I am joined by a spiraling circle of loading, Keelan. Let me see here. I think we're having some technical issues here. So Keelan is not with us in the stream, but we'll have to see if he can come back. There we go. We disconnected him. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Keelan will be right back. We're just having some connectivity issues. We're going to be talking about Moon Knight episode 3. Just came out today. So if you guys haven't seen it, I think this is probably a good time to give you the spoiler warning. If you have not seen Moon Knight and want to watch it, please turn back now and go watch it, and then come back to us and we will give you the review. And it'll be up on our Facebook page and YouTube page. So take your time, enjoy the show, and then come back to us. But if you don't mind being spoiled, we are going to be reviewing the third episode tonight for this show. And we got Keelan back, so I had to do a little vamping while Keelan had to reboot. What's up, Keelan?
What's going on, guys? Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened, but we are back.
Mm-hmm. All good, all good. The cost of doing it live, right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that would have got edited out really quick if we weren't doing this live. You guys wouldn't have had
right.
Man, you wouldn't have had no free time with Nick. Look at that.
They would have had they would have had to listen to me blabber. Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. We very much appreciate all of you out there. I gave this spoiler warning already for episode 3, so I think we're just good to jump into our first impressions of the episode. So, Keelan, what did you think for episode 3? Oh, now your mic isn't working. This is a mess. I'll tell you what I thought. I thought this was a decent episode. It wasn't anything that totally blew me away. Are you back, Keelan?
I'm back. I'm just not exactly sure. Okay, I'll say this before we even get into that. I feel like my laptop has a mind of its own right now. I don't really. That's all I know.
Funny is before the stream, you were like, "Oh, my laptop did a really good job in the last couple episodes."
I did. I gave it so much props. I was like, "It's been holding me down."
Right. That's what we get for being boastful, I guess. Right.
I should have said it on the back end of this episode, and I probably wouldn't have had any issue.
Yeah. All right. So let's get your first impressions, Keelan.
All right, now I have to remember episode 3. I had such an episode of my own just now.
Yeah, right.
No, episode 3, I really enjoyed it a lot. I didn't even think I was going to enjoy it that much. But the things I enjoyed about it were more so about how it varied from previous series and what I expected of an episode 3. But for this particular series, it is an episode 3. And it's weird to say that after having the feeling I have. It is leagues ahead of any other episode 3 we've seen. But as far as this series stands, it's pretty normal.
Yeah. I don't know if that's an incredibly high bar for episode 3 of Marvel shows at this point, but I don't know. I feel like there's something a little bit shallow. I don't know what it is. I'm not getting hooked. I don't know why. I found myself really not liking Steven in this episode, which was maybe they wanted us to not like Steven, but I felt like he was kind of a hindrance to the progression of the story. And then, like the obviously telegraphed love triangle between Layla, Steven, and Mark. I mean, like if that's the direction they're going, I'm very worried.
Yeah. I didn't even understand why that was a thought. Why did that go beyond the writer's room?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Or maybe it happens in the comic book. We have to remember this actually has some source material.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I just don't. I mean, I guess. Yeah, sure. let's just go with that, I guess. I mean, I could be cynical and come up with reasons that I suspect that the weaker man would, be the one that comes out on top, but we don't need to go that far.
Okay, so my theory on the love triangle, we'll call it at the moment. I think what's really happening is it's easy. It makes sense, in my opinion, for Layla to fall for Steven or Mark or whomever because she's in love with the person that is in that body, that face, that everything is what she loves, right? Excuse me. But the personality similarities of her and Steven is what makes that make more sense. So you already were in love with the physical, but now the mental and all of that other stuff is a part of that. So to me, that makes sense. And the Mark situation was already there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I understand what they're trying to get at. I just feel a little bit cynical of it because I feel like, oh, well, okay, so he'll get the girl as long as he changes everything that he is.
Well, we also are going to have to find out those this personality that neither Mark or these flashpoints that neither Mark nor Steven can account for. We're gonna have to figure out what those are as well, because that's something. If that is another personality that Layla would have to deal with and be with or around as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so my first impressions, I guess, I just already explained. I'm feeling a little bit lackluster. There were some decent pieces in this episode, I don't think, but there's just like, I don't know. Do I care about Ethan Hawke? Nah. He doesn't have enough really like bravado to like it feels like everybody's in like a Comic-Con. Like everybody is like cosplaying as what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
The best parts were the Moon Knight character or the suit, for sure. But yeah, lackluster for me. I'm not really like, oh man, what's gonna happen next?
In this episode, I almost feel like the suit was unnecessary. It was forced in this particular episode.
Yeah, but they had to have it because it would have been utterly boring without it.
I think it was more interesting without the suit, if I'm being honest.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I guess you might be, I guess where I could see where you're coming from with that for sure. But I just feel like the most, the most invested or enthralled with the show was when when he was in the suit and he was fighting and doing that superhero stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I mean, like I think everybody's cup of tea is probably different. But yeah, that was the only thing that really stood out to me as being like interesting. I guess the Council of the Gods was kind of cool, but it would have been better but it would have been better to see the actual gods, I think, instead of their avatars.
I think that in episode 3 makes me believe that there is a probability that by episode 6 we will see more gods.
It also makes me feel
of them in the spirit realm, not just
maybe. But it also makes me worry that Amit is never going to actually be shown, that we're just going to see Avatar through Harrow.
Yes, I don't think we're ever going to see. I don't think we're ever going to see Amit for sure now. After having all of the other gods introduced, which I thought we were going to have a slow introduction into them, but that was pretty much all we're going to get until the end, and then there's going to be something in reference to them. I'm hoping at minimum we get 3 more of them in their spirit embodiment, similar to Khonshu, and not just the one that apparently he had a love thing for.
Right.
Because I feel like it's just going to be that one, and that's going to be disappointing.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. I just think that if we don't see the monsters, it's kind of like, it feels, it feels just a little bit too convenient, right? It's like, oh, wow, how convenient. You get to save all that money on not actually showing us the bad guy.
They had to prove he was bulletproof this time.
Yes, they did.
Oh, and he can throw the bullets back. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, a little bit more like the Venom suit, I guess, right? Yeah. And he could get.
A lot of Venom similarities, and
Mhm.
didn't see that coming at the beginning of this.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he can get impaled over and over again. So he's kind of like got the Deadpool thing with a Venom suit.
Right, and well, so I yeah, we're just moving through. I
Yeah.
thought something was very interesting with that. Um, so he gets these rides that I'm not really sure where the sharp pointing part to impale him came from, but they were going through him, going through him, going through him, and then at the end of this whole thing, Khonshu says, "Tick tock, Mark Spencer, tick tock."
Mhm.
Now, think to myself, he's already gotten him back from the field of reeds. How long does he have? Not how long does that body have? How long does Mark Spencer have?
Mhm.
And it gave me some thought into, and just from when you bring up that scene gave me thought into um the personalities. We're still trying to find out how long has he had multiple personalities. Who's the original personality?
Right.
Clearly, it's Mark. So how
You
long
would
has
think
Steven
so.
existed? You would
Right.
think so. So
Yeah.
it's like, how long has Steven existed? Then you have this probability of another, and you have Khonshu. So
I
that's
think what
four.
I think what it is that, and I think we mentioned this before, but Mark Spector's soul got put into Steven's body and just left with Steven's consciousness as well. And then over time, Mark Spector had to learn how to suppress Steven until he lost control over it at some point. So I think it's
Right.
Steven's original body, but like Layla met him as Mark Spector,
Hmm.
and Mark Spector's been using the body this whole time, but it's actually Steven's original body. And
Okay.
that once the deal with Khonshu's over, Mark Spector gets to go into the afterlife, and that's when Steven will have his body back, because he kept telling Steven, "Let me do
Once
this,
this
and
is done.
you'll never hear from me again."
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that makes sense. Even well, the only thing that doesn't make sense with that for me is how would the body be prepared? Like, why would you choose him then? But my theory in total though is, what if it wasn't just Mark Spector that came back? Like something else tagged along, or someone else tagged along, and that's what's taking up these blank spaces in between. Now, I also believe everything else you just said, that again, well, actually, no, I think Mark was the original person or the original body, but essentially, yes, that Mark's trying to be out and Steven can keep, and all of that I agree with.
hmm yeah. I mean, hopefully they only have 3 more episodes to kind of like unravel that mystery, and I hope the payoff is decent, because that's really the only mystery going on right now. So
Hmm. Yeah, that's well, that and who is Layla's dad?
I guess I don't really care.
I do. Let me
Yeah.
explain. So she mentions that her father once owned the Scarab and he was an archaeologist.
hmm
We know, I've heard enough stories of archaeologists being the superheroes eventually because they find all of the artifacts and things, right? Um, then noticing that when the suit scene came around, she had that like crescent type necklace looking thing on, and she took that
hmm
off and used it as a weapon.
hmm
And it made me think, did he have a female sidekick, or was his wife getting down too in the comics? So who would Layla be? Or is that just something that they're adding in? Uh
I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about the comics, to be honest. But
no, I understand. And like her
yeah,
dad might have been Avatar at one point. He might have been Moon Knight before Harrow.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think that'll be just something they tack on. I don't know if the father thing is going to be that big of a deal.
Oh no, they're gonna say that Mark killed her dad for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a 1,000% happening.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
that was what the illusion was in this. So her dad's going to be a bigger moment than what he currently is. But I'm curious, as far as the Moon Knight storyline, if he's going to be any significance to it, and what that may be, why Layla is such a candidate bloodline.
No, I think it's just a concoction of, like having to have female representation in the show.
No, yeah, I mean I get that, but I'm saying at this point, what with that representation, what are the attributes and amenities that come with it? What are the add-ons?
I
What is
don't
she
know.
now capable of?
To be honest, that was one of the weakest parts of the show, in my opinion, was Mark
Mhm.
and Layla together. I just didn't like it. I thought it was like, meh, you guys
Just
hate
the
each
whole second
other.
half of the show.
Yeah, it's like you guys love each other but hate each other, but you don't want to talk to each other. Like, why is
I didn't
this?
think they knew each other.
Yeah, exactly. So like, what's going on here? You guys have like a fake marriage that was out of convenience. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
I
he
just
definitely said, "You didn't know me,"
right.
and it's like, what? I didn't
Yeah,
even understand what was going on there.
I get the feeling that he's trying to keep her at a distance. Obviously, that's why he disappeared.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's kind of like where my theory comes from, because like he knows he's going to die once he's done with Khonshu, and
Hmm.
so he doesn't want Layla to get invested in him because he'll just be gone, and Steven
Yeah.
will have his body back.
Steven can't have his girl.
Well, Steven's going to take his girl, so it doesn't matter.
Mr. Still your girl.
Yeah,
I with my accent, I'm just smooth.
yeah, yeah.
And and um, I did. So I know you said you didn't too much care for the gods scene. I thought it
Yeah.
was cool because not because of the gods themselves, but it took place in the Pyramid of Giza, and then you have all the gods, and then even when you get back to when they turn Khonshu into stone later, um, showing that this is not just a spiritual place, but a place of power.
Hmm.
Like it helps you tap into the power. Like it is a central, basically a central process. It's almost a CPU for the Earth.
Right. And then we're going to
Um,
get the blue beam of light coming out of it at some point in this show.
that's
So,
exactly what I'm getting at. I'm like, so
yeah.
I'm thinking to further that. That's going.
Hmm.
I don't know if we are going to call that historical accuracy, but
No, probably
just
not.
kind of playing on those familiar tropes that people are aware of and people love about the lore that they're going along with, running through the Egyptian lore. And still wondering how they're going to tie Black Panther into this, but I'm sure it'll be artifact based.
You know what I think is missing is from this, in my opinion, is that
Vibranium.
it's just it's too grounded. Like it would have
Oh,
been great if they
it makes too
incorporated
much
like
sense.
more of the Egyptian lore. I want to see like, the gods, like maybe there's a monster, maybe one of the Egyptian monsters runs loose, and
Ah, I get what you.
like
Yep.
bringing that more into the story might be more fun.
Hmm.
Like if they, like the tomb area is cool, like seeing the inside of the Pyramid of Giza, but that would have been cooler if it was like Mark and Layla had to raid it and go
Right.
into
I
it, and
agree.
then like eavesdrop
You
on
go
this
through
meeting.
the traps of it all and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like incorporating a little bit more of that fantasy element, because right now I
Mhm.
feel like it's being very grounded, because it's like it's street level. Moon Knight is street level apparently, even though he
Yeah.
shouldn't be. um yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, I agree because even the whole trial of Arthur Harrow was disappointing. So disappointing.
Yeah, I thought you could have like weighed his soul or something, you know what I
Something.
mean? Like,
How
yeah.
how he just gonna lie all out and okay, because he's Khonshu's avatar, Khonshu doesn't get listened to. And
Right.
then after you've put Mark through all this pain and he has no clue what's going on, he's recovering. Are you well? I'm not well. Hell no,
Yeah.
you're not well. Look what you
Yeah.
just did to him.
Let's hear from Mark, and then they're like, nah, you're crazy, bro, sorry.
Right,
like
right.
but
And he
he's like,
said nothing.
yeah,
He said nothing.
I know. And
So no,
that bit
I
of
get
overacting too was a bit too much, with the
that. Yeah,
voice
on that
coming
one.
out like that, and like, I don't know, that was a little bit like, all right. Poor Oscar
It's like
Isaac, everybody else has to be normal and he's got to be the
I
one,
was
like,
just about to mention
yeah,
that. That
yeah.
didn't make sense. Everybody else is just like,
Right,
bro, what is going on over there? Is he being electrocuted? Did
right, yeah.
somebody not tell Oscar that they're not in pain? They just aren't in control. It feels weird. She said
Yeah,
she
you're
didn't
getting
say it was.
channeled. Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't say it was some level of pain or.
Yeah, he
So
looked
no,
like he
I
was
get it.
getting electrocuted every time.
Definitely. Definitely. Veins bulging out. It was like,
Yeah,
yo. But hey, he was consistent with it, at least.
he was. He was. Yeah,
He's very
that's true.
consistent.
Yeah, I guess it would have been. Yeah, if you did it the first time, you have to do it every time, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
The whole 7-minute scene.
yeah. Just him shouting.
Two whole days of that. Ah, I know
Right.
that hurt.
That's got to be a bummer. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like, and so yeah, like I don't know, the other part that was weird was going to see the sarcophagus. That guy,
Right.
Anton. Yeah, it's like, are they trying to allude that like Anton and Layla were an item?
Um Apparently Layla was an item with a couple of people, and she's from Cairo, and a lot of people don't like her because her dad is from Cairo. So I guess she stole from all of her dad's business partners, and because she grew up and they all thought she was hot, and then they trusted her and she duped them off again. And I think that's stuff like that, because they
Stuff
were
like that.
mentioning, people who don't like her, and things that her dad did, and things people who hate her because of things she's done. And Anton was talking about forgiving her. So, I think it was just all about that kind of mess.
That's the best way to tell the story. Explain it off screen.
That's right. That's right. So for all might have been something going on there, or it might have just been some, Anton might be immortal or something.
He seemed like a jilted lover.
Excuse me.
Yeah, he seemed like a jilted lover for sure. It seemed like,
But
she
the
she
bodyguard
played
did
him.
too.
Yeah, the bodyguard did too. Yeah. I don't know, man. She's got a shady past.
That's what I'm saying. It's, if we're taking just the hints and the nudges, then she slept with everybody we met on that ranch.
Mm. So what do you think the utility of Moon Knight is going to be after this 6 episodes?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything in reference to any kind of multiverses. Chaos has only been mentioned once, so I don't really think it's gonna link too hard to the chaos energies and all of that good junk with Wanda.
Right.
Haven't seen Spider-Man still. Sorry, guys. But yeah, maybe Morbius. Maybe it Morbius links up somehow. I'm not sure.
I guess that would
that
be,
kind of makes sense because
that
of the
would be
movie.
the most. Yeah, that would make the most sense, I guess. Although I don't think I'd want to do that to Oscar Isaac. I like him as an actor. I just,
Since I still haven't seen it, who plays Morbius again?
Jared Leto.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to Oscar Isaac.
Right. Exactly.
How many characters is he gonna be at this point?
I don't know. I don't know who. I mean, like he made a deal with Baphomet for sure, dude. Like he made a deal with one of those ancient deities.
You don't get to be everybody you read about as a 10-year-old or a
Right.
6, 7-year, however-old.
Right. Yeah.
24, 50.
Yeah. Usually you want to either be a movie star or a rock star, but Jared Leto's like, no, I'm good enough to be both.
Man, be a movie star. I'm gonna be a rock star. Hey,
a cult leader.
I was about to say, hey, you want this Kool-Aid? No, it's just sugar.
Yeah. Yeah. Come to this island with me where we're gonna do tantric meditation together.
I'm not really mad at that part. That's why I had to go to Jim Jones route, because I understand.
Right.
I understand.
Everybody,
look, spiritual exploration, eh?
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Just allow them to leave and go back to their families. That's all. I have to say. No. Okay. No, I think I'm feeling like I don't really see where Moon Knight's place could be in the future. So this could just be a one-off thing. Like, I don't even think, like, do you think that there's a need for a season 2?
Not right now, no.
Yeah.
If it were to end today without 3 more episodes, even though they are on the docket, I'm not even curious as to what happens next.
Yeah.
I'm not curious as to whether Amit gets found. I'm not curious as to whether or not any of the other guys care that Arthur just duped him and technically he's nobody. I'm not even curious to know if Amit has already is using Arthur as avatar, or if one of the other gods might be using him as an avatar already,
Mm. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that the gods don't want, whether or not they want Amit to be freed.
Well, it seems like that, right? Because Osiris was talking to Arthur.
Well, and they already made it clear when Khonshu stated that he didn't turn his back on humanity. They've turned their back on humanity. Why would they care if Amit got free or not?
That's true, right? Yeah.
They needed someone
Good
to
point.
pass judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Do something with them. We bored.
Right, exactly. Although it's so arbitrary because the only reason they don't get involved is because they chose not to.
Sure.
So it's like, all right, well,
That's not what I'm hearing.
no. What do you think?
What I'm hearing is they don't get involved because it'd be too easy and they like a challenge.
Maybe they like being in the background pulling the strings, right?
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're omnipotent, then it's not as fun to do it out in the open.
I would assume so, but I've never
knows?
been in that much power.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what else is there in this episode? We have the whole fight sequence at the rich guy's house, right? And
Yes.
that's kind of the
That's
climax of the show, right?
Yeah. It's this episode was longer than I expected and shorter than it seemed at the same time.
Mm.
And what I mean is it was the way the clips broke down. You had the moment where Layla gets basically ready and then she disappears. Then you have Mark, and I guess you could say him hunting Harrow after you see Harrow in the desert, and then he talks to Khonshu. They have the meeting, they have the trial. It feels like 15 minutes. It's been 25.
Yeah.
And then Layla pops up.
Right.
And it's like, okay. And honestly, if he hadn't been tipped off by the other guy, would Layla pop up? How would Layla find him if he's not looking for Senfu?
I have no idea, man.
And how did she know about Senfu?
Right. She just knows, man. She just knows
everything.
people. She knows everything. Right.
So it's like, it's the
Right.
subliminal things. And that's why I think everything to me before that scene was really the meat of it. Because it's like, nah, you actually had to ask questions. And then you get to the guy's house and listen. From the moment they get off the boat and they see somebody traveling behind them, I was like, this is about to go bad.
Mm.
This is about to be this is going to be our climax, our fight scene. Maybe somebody dies. A lot of people died.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people died. I have to say that I liked that. For once, you actually saw people like, oh, he's clearly dead.
Yeah. That's nice to not have just like kicking and punching of bad guys and just like, oh, they'll just be asleep now. Don't worry about it. But what if we find out that Layla was Amit the whole time?
I wouldn't doubt it. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised. But what I would also not be surprised about is to find out that Layla has been stalking Mark because she wants to be imbued with the power of Khonshu or Amit or one of the gods, any of them, because her father was an archaeologist. And now that I know that, she's been crazed with the power of the gods since she was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to say it. It doesn't have to be on script. You just tell me her father was an archaeologist who had her at dig sites.
Mm-hmm.
So for all you know, she's been a vessel for her entire existence.
How much better of that would have been a scene if that was a flashback to her as a child at an archaeological dig site? And then you see her dad and you see him and his obsession with the gods and their power and maybe trying to find something that harnesses their power. And then you cut to her on her way to Cairo.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been so much better, dude.
They need to hire us, man.
Like, I just don't understand why you can't have those little tiny vignettes just be the explanation. Like that whole scene with the passport thing, we were supposed to be like, oh, cool, they're manufacturing a passport. But there was such an exposition dump that scene that it's like, holy shit, you just told a whole episode's worth of story material in 10 to 30 seconds.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, man. That would have been a great scene to see her as a little girl jumping on, stones and stuff at like an archaeological dig. Maybe she finds something, You know, maybe her dad finds something or opens a sarcophagus on mistake. Like that would have
Finds
been
just
super
or
cool.
finds stuff, doesn't even know what he finds, and she goes digging through stuff and finds it in the room and does the
Right.
right thing to activate it. Anything.
Anything would have been good. Anything to give her a little bit more of like a backstory. And this is what I can't stand. It's like just because you make somebody awesome doesn't mean that they're a good character.
Oh,
Like you need to give somebody a character, and seeing that scene of Layla as a kid would have been just the perfect way to just show us what she was like beforehand. Because right now we know nothing about her.
oh no.
We know nothing about her.
Right now, I think she's their Con and Mark, and they're wanting us to think the opposite, which makes me think it even more so.
Right now she's what?
Right now, I think she's there conning Mark.
Oh, right.
It seems like they want us to think the opposite, and it makes me
Right.
think that even more so.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Because she keeps popping up at the exact right moment.
Every time.
Every time. Yeah.
Ever since that call. And we still don't
Right.
know who Duchamp is, or Dochamp.
Right. Yeah, I can see where you're coming at with that. I do believe that you might be onto something for sure.
I don't believe in coincidence,
I
man.
know. Yeah. Yeah. But I think those are the little things that I feel like I'm missing, because or maybe even a flashback of Arthur and like what it took. Maybe they'll give us that. That might still be on the table, but like what happened to him after Khonshu, like released him.
After Khonshu molded him, gave birth to his victory.
Right. We might still get something like that, so I'll hold out judgment. But yeah, it would have been great to see that Layla was like a super connected to archaeology without just hearing it from some random woman we're never going to see again. Yeah,
and also to see that she had, I mean, not to see any of that, but to at the same time have her to find out verbally, oh, she'd been at the dig sites when she was a kid, and then her to watch Mark, Steven, and Khonshu, I'll say all three of them at this moment, right? Roll back the skies 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, imagine if they had done exactly how you just broke down that entire flashback scene, and then added that at the end.
Right.
Just
and you could
the
even
best episode ever.
And you could even have had her, like, at the end of that scene, look out at the night sky, and that would have been a tie back, and then that, turning back the night sky would have been a tie back to her as a little girl. Yeah.
It's just,
there are ways to make good characters. They just are so lazy about it. Like, they just think that if you can kick ass and you're super snarky, you're an awesome character. And it's just not the case.
Hey, you know what they say in writing rooms nowadays? Aim for the bushes.
Aim for the bushes. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, nah, man, it's sad, but at the same time, I'm gonna assume one thing. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. They're up against the clock, and when they bring really good stuff like what we're coming up with and what we say regularly here, it gets shot down because it hasn't been proven any longer in this particular era for this demographic in this generation. This generation wants the here and now.
I don't know. I think that's what they assume these people
want.
Oh,
I think that is 1,000% the assumption. I'm just saying, I think that's what the writers are up against.
Yeah. I just don't understand why you can't have like certain
allegedly
writing, narratives. Like, so I think what it is though is like a lot of writers think of these things as cliche because they're done all the time, but it's like they're cliche for a reason, because we like them in our stories.
You know what else is cliche?
Breathing. Yeah, exactly. It's so cliche, man. How are you going to do that? Bring oxygen into your body.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But like I just hope that there's a little bit more substance to the next episodes for sure. Because at this point, it's like, do I care about Mark? Nah. Do I care about Steven? No. Don't care about Layla. Don't care about Harrow. So.
No, I'm there for you. I'm there with you. Listen, dare I say, we can watch the first 3 episodes consecutively, and I don't think we would change one of these opinions thus far. And it's because there is an honesty that this is written with, that I'm seeing, and some of that honestly is I don't read comic books.
Mhm. Or any books. Any
I-
books with like overarching narrative and character development. Like, come
Mhm.
on, you know?
Maybe, yeah, you're right. Maybe a couple of self-help books and stuff like that, though.
Right,
The
right.
biography of books and junk,
Mhm, mhm.
which are all great reads, but that won't help in this situation.
Yeah.
So, I do enjoy the fact, also not just the rolling back of the sky. I did enjoy that Khonshu volunteered to help when he saw that Stephen was willing to help the
Mhm.
cause.
Right.
I liked seeing that connect without it really having to be said or delve into.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think they're already kind of setting up that Steven will just be the one to take over the Moon Knight mantle, and
Yeah,
Mark will be the one that dies or sacrifices himself or whatever.
yeah.
So,
Well, oh, guess he does get the girl,
yes, he does. Of course he does. Of course he does. And he's not even going to really get the girl. It's going to just be one of those things where he has like a big crush on her
and he keeps the accent.
and he
Oh,
keeps the accent. Yeah.
I don't know, Lila, Lila,
Yeah.
Lila, stop hitting me.
Yeah,
So
it's a very distinct Londoner accent that's not obviously not very good, but whatever.
I was about to say it's not very London.
No,
Eh,
no.
Not that I've ever been, so what do I know?
I've just heard many English people remark that his English accent is not good.
It's not right. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'll keep imitating it then, because that means
Mhm.
nobody can tell me that I'm being terrible because I'm imitating what's terrible.
That's right.
That means I'm
Damn
doing
right.
very well.
Mhm.
All right.
All right. Well, what else you got? Anything?
Um, that was it. I mean, my some of my biggest highlights again was the Pyramid of Giza,
Mhm.
the gods, the fight scene, the crescent necklace, followed by the crescent cape that we saw in the trailers.
Mhm.
I hate how some of the bigger trailer moments just look so cheesy when you see them in the episodes.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. There was something about the camera work too that was a little bit shaky
So different.
sometimes.
It was
It just
definitely different.
it kept like move. I don't know if you noticed that, but it kept like moving like they were doing like The Office, like where
Mhm.
they have those mockumentary cameras. And I was like, why are you moving the camera so much? Like
I
this,
expected a few more jokes in certain scenes for sure.
right, right, yeah, exactly. You think you're watching The Office? I don't know who was working the camera on that, but it was getting me like legitimately dizzy sometimes because I'm like, dude, there's no reason for you. This is a cinematic movie. There's no reason for you to be moving the camera at all. Like,
Right. I mean,
stop twitching with it. I mean, focusing in and out is different, but like,
mhm.
yeah,
I mean, look, let's look at it for what it is. Chances are, uh, somebody couldn't get their test in or had a negative or a positive test. COVID times, man. Had
yeah,
to use
maybe,
the backup cinematographer, the backup
maybe,
camera guy,
yeah,
and that's what you get.
perhaps. Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Not
I
everybody
still
works.
everyone. There's still 3 episodes, man. So I'm gonna try to be hopeful about it. I don't want to poo-poo too much. I'm not like wowed by this episode, but it wasn't like an awful episode of TV. It's not.
Right.
Um, but we'll see. 3 more episodes to kind of see where this story goes. So
Yeah. No, I can honestly say, um, if this is the temperature, episode threes are getting better at least.
that's true.
But
That's true.
for an episode three, this is good. For
Hmm.
this series, still
Yeah. Yeah.
good
It-
episode for
yeah.
episode threes.
Definitely that. Yeah, I think that it is the momentum is feels like it isn't as because basically we're already at like unleashing Amit and it's 3 episodes in. And so it's like, okay, so where are we gonna go? Are we gonna have 3 more episodes of Amit almost being unleashed?
It feels like say this before we wrap it up.
Mhm.
Remember that show Mummies Alive?
Yeah.
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 I still watch that.
Mm.
And something I caught is the way those shows are set up. They aren't the longest shows, but they're set up in segments, and the segments break down where you get the dialogue, you get the action, and that's when you get the big bad, and then the next thing you know, you kind of have the turnaround of the big bad, and the big bad is on your side, and that's really how it ends out. And then there's always the dead set bad, and the dead set bad, the person that you've been fighting on and off the whole time, comes in. And that's kind of how all of the 90s TV shows really were, cartoons.
Mhm.
But that's really the feeling that this is giving me. I feel like in a moment, like we already got Arthur trying to play nice.
Mhm.
And what I think we're gonna end up with next isn't necessarily Arthur trying to play nice or Amit trying to play nice, but we're gonna get that glimpse like we saw of the Osiris avatar and Arthur, and then they're gonna turn around and realize like, oh, we messed up.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe Amit kills all the other gods, and because Khonshu is encased in stone, he survives. You know,
Perhaps.
but who knows? Well, because that's another thing right now. So Mark and Steven no longer have the suit.
Mhm.
So now we're at episode 3, and we're gonna have to probably spend at least one episode with Mark and Steven without a suit.
The
And it's
powerless.
the powerless. And I just feel like we just got to see the suit, and I'm like, okay, well now they don't have it anymore. So
Right. And
yeah,
which means Mark has to be in control the whole time because Steven ain't got it.
right.
He don't have the
Exactly.
instincts.
Well, and until he comes across hieroglyphs, right? Until he goes into like the tombs, then that's where Steven's going to be able to be,
Oh,
the
yeah,
the
yeah, you're right.
protagonist. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he'll need to know how to read the hieroglyphs. He's going to only know how the puzzles work or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. So they gotta keep helping each other out, clicking in and out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
I did like that he did that the last time he did it when Mark changed into Steven. I'm glad that they made it a lot more subtle. It was
Mhm.
just a facial expression. I think that that's good because like we don't
Can't
need
keep
to have
passing
that.
out.
Can't keep passing out. No. you gotta learn the way. Even the Hulk figured it out. Come on.
Man,
Yeah.
he's angry all the time.
Right.
But a watch
Ex-
helps him.
Except in Infinity War or Endgame.
I just want to say
angry.
I wouldn't have been angry, but I would have had some other emotional situations if she kept coming over there rubbing on me, talking about, "Are you okay?"
Right.
Just saying.
Right.
Get your hands off of me, woman.
Shit. All right. Well, I think that's all we got for tonight. You got anything else?
That's it for me. Looking forward to episode 4 and what kind of duds they've tailored for the Mark Spencer, Stephen Grant split persona.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that sounds good to me. I think we can wrap it up here. And thank you, everybody, for listening. We really hope that you enjoyed this episode. What did you think of episode 3 of Moon Knight? Let us know down in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let us know. What was good? What was bad about it? We would love to hear from you guys. Thank you for taking the time out of your day or evening to listen to us. We very much appreciate it. We're a part of a network of podcasts on Thinkering Talks at Facebook, where you can catch Exofathom. It's on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Facebook and YouTube. And then Keelan's got a podcast. It's called If Numbers Could Talk. He's on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. He's got a Facebook page, a YouTube page. He's also on Spotify. So go check him out. If Numbers Could Talk. Wednesdays and Sundays is Screen Time Continuum, where we're giving you movie reviews and TV reviews and maybe some trailer reactions along the way. Thursdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is it Tuesdays and Thursdays? For Dijon?
Yes, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. Dijon, our buddy, has a Twitch channel. It's called Strawberries and Coffee, and he streams Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 10:30 p.m. He also has a YouTube page at Strawberries and Coffee, where you can get all of his recordings and check him out on the back catalog. Be on the lookout. Keelan might have some podcast news to announce soon. So be on, check us for over the next couple of weeks or so, and you'll probably be seeing a new podcast that we're coming up with on Saturdays. So just a little teaser out there for all of y'all. But in the meantime, if you're purists and just want to hear us blabber on about TV and movies and critique things for which we have no credentials, Thank you for taking this trip through the Screen Time Continuum with us. For Screen Time Continuum, I am Nick.
And I'm Keelan.
Good night.
Appreciate you guys.